much more effective ways of teaching him a lesson and making an example of him to others. One such way would have been taking his wife, his sisters, and any other female relatives that he might have and transporting them to the West. There they would be taught that they are not livestock, given a college education, told that they didn't have to wear a Coleman tent on a daily basis, shown the joys of tanning on a beach in nothing more than a bikini or perhaps even topless. They might even find some real men who would show them that sexual relations are supposed to be something enjoyed by both partners and that a marital dispute need not end with them being beheaded. What a horrible punishment that would be. My problem is with this whole situation is the absolute hilarity that our media elite have treated this situation. Many having indicated that they wished they had the same opportunity. Now, of course, contemptible though it may be, this should be no surprise to anyone, as the American media elite has forever dishonored itself in recent years and will never again be taken seriously as a news reporting organization to anyone with more than a modicum of common sense. But I can't help but wonder how they would have reported on this situation had it been Barack Hussein Obama behind that podium. I wonder if they would have waited a day before they began calling for the declaration of war, or if the nuclear bombs would have started falling as soon as Air Force One was a safe distance away from the airspace of the offending nation with their cheerful endorsement. So for all you members of the media elite, I only have this to say. When the time comes, and it will come, when someone throws something at your hero, I will not laugh, I will not crack jokes, and I will not clamor about wishing that I could have done the same thing. Not just because I am better than you, but also because I have more class. Besides, if I'm ever given a chance to throw something at anyone of my choosing, without fear of repercussion or consequence, my choice would be to throw it at you arrogant, self-righteous, deluded, hypocritical waste of human chromosomes. I can also assure you that my choice of chastisement would not be a shoe or even a brick, but a handful of something nasty that can be found in any septic tank in order to make sure that you smell as bad as your opinions. And that's it for this Jackass Report. Okay. Isn't it amazing how so many of Barack Hussein Obama's associates are turning out to be corrupt? And yet he is as fair as the wind-driven snow. Doesn't it make you wonder how someone who has been so intimately associated with such wonderful human beings such as Bill Ayers, Jeremiah Wright, Tony Rezko, and now Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, and I'm sure I'm going to be mispronouncing that, and generally I am very sensitive about pronouncing people's names correctly, but in the case of this individual, I will be honest in stating that I really don't give a damn if he's offended. Anyway, it's interesting that Mr. Obama has been associated with such individuals, and yet he remains both above reproach and blissfully ignorant of so many of their doings. Is it just me, or does anyone else feel a bit uncomfortable with a president who is so unobservant that he's failed to note such minor issues, such as a past history of a domestic terrorist who was once on the FBI's top 10 list? a racially bigoted religious leader who promotes the downfall of this nation in the very church that he attended for 20 years. The numerous shady deals of a well-known corrupt Chicago businessman and the hardly discreet corruption of Governor Blagojevich, who was auctioning off Mr. Obama's Senate seat like a collector auctions off comic books on eBay. It almost brings back memories of a simpler time, a time not too many years ago, in which a former paragon of Democratic Party virtue stated that he'd smoked but not inhaled. A time in which he'd stated he'd not engaged in sexual relations with a young intern old enough to be his daughter. After all, oral sex isn't intercourse now, is it? In fact, the new head of the party of the donkey has had very little to say about the issue, and even that has been short on fact and long on being unenlightening. When asked if he had been in contact with Blagojevich, his response was, and I quote, "I had no contact with the governor, or his office, and so I was not aware of, what was happening. And as I said, it's a sad day for Illinois." Well, I can agree with that at least. It is a sad day for all of us. Now that we've listened to that little statement, or gone over that little statement from Mr. Obama, let's go back to November 23rd in Chicago, Illinois. In a report from Fox News political reporter Jack Conatee, who spoke with Obama senior advisor David Axelrod, Conatee specifically asked, has Obama expressed a preference, however, who might replace him in the Senate? Axelrod's response was, I know he's talked to the governor, and there are a whole range of names, many of which have surfaced, and I think he has a fondness for a lot of them. Now, the Obama camp quickly jumped on this when it was pointed out to them, stating that Axelrod was mistaken or had misspoke. Don't you love how Democrats misspeak, but with Republicans it's called a lie? The problem with this is that on November 5th, KHQA CBS TV in Illinois, reporter Carol Sowers is quoted as saying, now that Barack Obama will be moving into the White House, his seat in the U.S. Senate representing Illinois will have to be filled. That's one of Obama's first priorities today. He is meeting with Governor Rod Blagojevich this afternoon in Chicago to discuss it.